Hello there, Pedro. Not exactly the face I was expecting to see, or should I say wanting to see, but hey, you're here, so I guess we'll live with that. Miles? No, you're wrong, Pedro. This is a 1278. Good old MagSafe 1. Alright, so as far as I can tell, this thing's just running slow, so it could be anything. Could be corrosion on the board, could be... yeah, there's just a whole lot of what it could be. Damn it, where's my... sorry, just looking for the stuff that I need here. Doo-ba-doo-doo. Hoping it's a 3115. Beep. Alright. Let's get it open, have a look. It seems to charge and run everything. Okay, how long is it? Well, the battery doesn't really hold charge because I did charge that quite a bit the other day. And it's already gone flat. Less to be expected on a machine like this. Hey, Mr. Stamps. Hi, Steve. Yes, it's a bit of a just get some jobs done scenario. Alright, well, yeah, this is so far back. We've got Phillips for the screws. Ooh, getting serious. Yeah, 1278 this is. So yeah, hopefully it's a 3115. A3X, the man of not many words, but lots of hand gestures. Let's see, we've got a missing foot. Looks like it's a spinning rust drive too. But that's not where the slowness is coming from. The slowness is like when I'm using the trackpad or something, like you can see it like stutters across. Are these worth fixing? Well, this person does want it fixed, so I guess that answers that. I'm pretty sure this is a 3115. It looks like one. And the winner is, yep, 3115. Thank goodness for that. Okay. Wow, it's getting time for me to get new glasses again already. Damn, my eyes are just drifting so bad. Used to be that these were for like, 30 centimeter distance, and now I've got to step back too far, so yeah, it's time for me to get new glasses again. Sucks. Okay, we've got the usual sort of battery breakaway there, nothing on... so it's in pretty good condition, really. Yeah, we don't have the typical complete and utter green zone fest down here. Hey, Mr. Howe. Okay, you get yourself some sleep. You know this stream will be here. Thanks for saying hello, though. Oh, that one's not even there. Okay. So this could be, like I said, anything like a bad trackpad. There's so many things. We'll have a look down in the board area, see if we can see any corrosion, but it's probably going to be on the other side. Hey, John L. I might suggest that they go, if we do fix this up, I might suggest that they go to a solid state drive. Okay, so that cap's a bit gnarly, but not bad. The SMC area is in pretty good condition. Anyone who's worked on these machines knows that usually you get this barrage of corrosion down here, but this one's in pretty good nick. Okay, we've got a bit of corrosion there. current sense resistor has got a little bit on it. But yeah, nothing's really jumping out and screaming at me. Weird, that is. It's like someone put a tweezer head through it. There could just be a bad trackpad. I'm surprised the RAM hasn't given him grief. Looks like we've got an exoskeleton. Looks like something from Beetlejuice. So we take it out. Gotta remember the screw sequence for these now. That's always fun. Now you stop working on these things for a while and you forget the optimal routine you had for disassembling them. It's a bit like iPhone 4s and 4S's. Those things were a nightmare in terms of just the sheer number of screws they had in them. But you ended up working out a routine, but then you forget it after a while. It is nice to be working with T6 screws though. Much nicer than the smaller sizes. At least T6 you feel like you can actually put some torque into them. T5's not too bad, but T6 is really a nice sort of sweet spot. And then you've got all these ones down here to remove. Hey Joey! Glad to see you got the message. The hidden one. And of course the dreaded speaker down here. Not speaker, microphone. Wow, this one's well and truly stuck. There we go. This is in very good condition. I mean, look at that, there's barely any dust at all on it. Just going to set up my focus here. So stand by. I need to get myself a slightly larger monitoring screen. Okay. So I really am not overly sure what I'm looking for, other than a bit of corrosion in an inappropriate location. Like, this is more typical of what we expect to see for a machine like this. But it's still in very good condition. That cap there being corroded away. PCH that you could actually reball if you had to. Not that you want to. Nah, this is frustratingly clean. Yeah, there's trash under there, but it's not really trashy enough. Hey, Greg. Greg, I was having one of your days on Friday with couriers. Yeah, we've got the corrosion colours coming through there. Being a 3115, it definitely should have been running faster than what I experienced when I booted it up. And that was without a hard drive. So I was just booting up from my test drive. Oh, there's some screen corrosion there. That's not catastrophically bad, but that certainly has to be fixed. I'm really thinking it's going to be a trackpad fault. And check to see we don't have the classic moisture destroyed cap under here. That doesn't seem likely, on the grounds of the fact that it's booting and everything. We're not having a short circuit showing up, although that's some decent corrosion going on down there. Alright, let's get this one off. Oh, Greg, I've been battling with this one for the last 20 years, so it's more a case of they were behaving for a bit and then they went back to their bad behavior on Friday. What it is it gets to 3 o'clock in the afternoon and they abandon ship in terms of deliveries. They're like, well, no, we've got to head back to Townsville now. And it's extra infuriating this time around because my competitor in town will have received their shipment of screens from the same place that I get them, but I did not. So they were able to tend to their customer requirements, but I was not. It's almost impossible to get this thing off without it tearing apart. I don't know what kind of glue it is, but it does not like coming off. Okay, that there was some ethanol rather than isopropylene. Still not coming off. Very annoying. Okay, let's try the physical removal technique. And now we've lost where that corrosion was, but I'm pretty sure it was that cap down the bottom there. And Pedro coming in with his classic Seinfeld references. Alright, so there was grunge building up on the side of that cap, but I don't think it got damaged. Where'd it go? Oh no. Yeah, there it is. Looks fine. But yeah, that's a fairly common failure point. Basically what happens is the sponge becomes a corrosion wetting point. Okay, what's the deal with these couple of pins here? I just can't imagine that they would be causing the issues that we're seeing though. Yeah, that hasn't gotten far enough to be a problem. That was really more of just, yeah, it's a bit of surface corrosion. Maybe it has. Let's see how far it's eaten into that leg. Oh, that one's a goner. Oh, it's holding on. There's enough material there that it's certainly, yeah, it'll work as a data line leg. If you're expecting power to go through it, maybe not so much, but as a data line leg, that's still holding on. The face lamp is what's given the 12 volts. It's my little LED lamp because I couldn't find the normal power brick for it, so I'm powering it off my DC power supply. Kind of wondering whether I should replace that. Maybe we should, just out of an abundance of caution. I'm not even sure if I've got these ones. I should have. I can always take it from another board. I'm fairly sure with the 3115s they use the same connector as the 1466s now. Yeah. The only downside is these do not have the keying pins, the physical key pins, which is annoying. They're actually meant for the LCD panel side, not the PCB side. Just seeing if I maybe got lucky and had one, but it doesn't look like I am. Guaranteed future job. I don't want this coming back as a future job. Oh, we've got some keying pin ones. They're the right side. Yes. Whee! I got lucky. Hey, Antonio. I mean, I don't have to have the keying pins there, but it just does make it a little bit easier. Yeah. Just make sure everything's lined up. Yep, okay. It's a go. We are not going to use the hot air bidet for this one because it's the wrong kind of place. And we can already do these ones normally anyway. The biggest risk here is generally melting this transformer. Hey ruggers, so we'll just put that on there. That should about do it. Okay. Do a bit more air. No need for Rossmann levels of destruction. Perfectly easy to replace these without destroying the prior connector. We're just going to put down some leaded and then we're going to take it back off. Alright, that's nice and flat. And then we'll go and actually put solder back down. I know, it seems kind of odd, but you got to realize that that first batch of leaded solder that you put down, it ends up being contaminated with the lead free. And so you end up with this odd kind of alloy. And usually it's not a big problem anyway, but it's nice to get rid of it. Okay, so now we're going to put down the solder that we're going to use for when we hot air things down. Hey there, Serge. Now the other way you can do this is to just place the connector down and then go along and solder everything up. But I'm going to go for the reflow technique. That should be plenty. If there are any there that end up not getting covered, that's fine, we can just touch them up. Hey there, AIX. This is where the physical keys are handy. You can just plonk it down, and when you've got the hot air going, it's not going to really go anywhere. Hey, Dust Midget. Hey Greg, what are you saying? Graham at MIT had a 4060 Ti. Oh, I saw that last night. I didn't see the whole thing. I sort of passed out, but I saw that he was starting on it on his own after talking about his beard. Now the main reason why we often don't do the reflow method on these connectors is because they are fairly large, and unless you're willing to be patient enough with the heat, they can end up melting for some people. But that looks pretty good. The upside of doing the reflow technique is that those four pads that were underneath the connector that you can't get access to, they help hold that connector down. Anyway, so now we've got beautiful factory style connections there. We've got a incy little bit of melting on the transformer there. It's tolerable. Now we're probably going to have a couple of pins here that are floating. That's normal. Yeah, I can already see a couple there. We'll get them fixed up now. You're a floater. This end feels like it's sitting up a little higher than I like, actually. So what we'll do is we will wick up the pads a bit. I'm not exactly sure where it's sitting high. So we've wicked up the pads, and I'll just give it another hit with the hot air. I'm only using 390 and 60%. It might have been there was just a little bit too much solder under somewhere. It's not a major problem, it's just the pins that are floating up a little bit. You can see they're already being drawn down. Yeah, it's not going to sit any flatter. Hey there, Rilla. Alright, it's all looking good. And we've got no issues internally either, so that's good. Alright, so while that was an issue, I'm not sure that was the issue that we're dealing with here. That's just something that would have likely come up in the near future. The corrosion here on the current sense resistor, it's annoying, but again, it's not likely to be a cause. That cap, yeah, it's had better days for sure. But again, not likely to be the cause. On these boards, you're always going to get a whole bunch of sus looking things, but trying to find the actual fault can be a little bit more elusive. As I said, you know, it does boot, it does run. It just runs a little poorly. And not because of the hard drive, because we were testing with the USB stick. Have a look at the SMC on the edge. Sometimes you can get corrosion wicking through the edges, the little tiny copper dots that you see on the edge of the SMC at the bottom. Sometimes you get corrosion working its way in through those, but that all looks clear to me. Let's have a look at that trackpad. Looks like our bench has become dirty. Run ASD, yeah, that's going to be my next choice. I have to find my ASD. Which ASD is for the 3115? I forget. Actually, I've also got what's the other tool that I've got? It's not the ASD. It's something slightly lighter. I usually use it on my 1466s. MRI, that's it, thank you. That shows you how long it's been since I've run the MRI. We've got to find it. Assuming I even have it. Ah, that's where those crappy USB things went. Mem test. Hey, MRI. Probably about time I took... there's the other crappy one. This is the USB-C meter that basically drove me to make my own, because it was perfectly fine, but then all of a sudden, you know, all the mounting screws start falling apart, and it was just a little bit too small for me to read. You know, then these things accumulated enough to make me go, that's it, I've had enough. I was wondering where that one was. So I'm going to put it back in here, and that should mean I'll forget it. Thank you, Greg. And Mr. Keating. Right. What is that noise? It sounds like a siren. Anyway, we'll run MRI, see what comes up. If that doesn't reveal anything, I do have the what is it? The ASD testing and stuff. Oh, I suppose it's got its own built-in tester too, doesn't it? That really, is that a siren or is that someone playing bad music? How many random strange things do I have? Too many, I think is the proper answer. No matter how many I have, it's too many. I probably should have ASD'd this or MRI'd this before I even took it apart, but no. With these machines, you just assume that, oh, okay, there's going to be some sort of corrosion somewhere. Fresh spudges. Where's taking my blood? Do you mind if you DM a question? Oh, sure. Yeah, what on Discord? I'll try and get it. These flexes up the top are infuriating to reinstall at times. What do I have in all those USB? They're just various versions of various boot setups that I want. Like different Linux installers, different Windows installers, different macOS installers, things like that. And since USB keys, sticks are so cheap, you just keep them rather than reusing them with something else. Well, Dust Midget, just let me know when you message me and through what method. Right, we're going to put in a couple of screws because we don't want this thing flopping out. There's my T6. And the battery. I'll leave that disconnected. I'll put in a battery screw. I don't have a lot of good options here for the battery screw. So that one's no good. I'll try the longest one. I imagine this is probably one of the reasons why Apple said, you know what, we're not going to do these big batteries anymore, because they just keep snapping out. Okay, that should be enough for us to get MRI running. You know what I'm... oh, see how we go. MagSafe 1 cable required. What the double beep? What is that all about? That's weird. Now it definitely is working, but it's not responding to the option key. So I don't know why it's doing the dun dun dun. It's actually booted. It's showing me the login screen, but then it flashes the user account. Like, what's going on there? And now it's gone stuttery. So keyboard does work. Trackpad must work because I'm able to restart it and shut it down. Oh my goodness, it's horrible to study. Alright, easiest thing for me to do at this point is to disconnect the hard drive, and then it forces it to boot into MRI, and then at least we've got some idea of what might be going on. No, it's not the RAM in this case, Pedro, because it's booting fine. And sometimes it's 2 beeps, sometimes it's 1 beep, sometimes it's 4 beeps. It's just like the keyboard's being held down in a funny way somewhere. Oh, well, it looks like it's booting into MRI now. Or something. It could be a partial keyboard failure. Ah, finally. Here we go. Dust Midget, with your with your XR phone, have you tried just like disconnecting almost everything? Like, does it? Let's see. When you say it's rebooting, is it every 3 minutes or so? Does it get to the passcode where you can type in something? Stuck key. Could be stuck key, could be that key. But though nothing's running along in the login text. Okay, I don't know what this is doing now. it is doing something with the stick, but it's not really making any progress. Where's my ASD? Hey, Tom Morgan. Yeah, anyone remember which ASD is required for the 3115? So, that's the bet that I do not have it. Okay, I've got 2 ASD SSDs. The real problem we're facing here is that we can't even get it to pull up the boot options. What the hell? It just came up with a user login that is not on that MRI. Let's put some tape over that just in case it was actually magically making enough contact. I don't think that was the people. It's, yeah. That is weird stuff. Okay, let's try that again. Crikey, how hard is it to get a boot? Phantom hard drive for sure, yeah. No, I don't know what it's doing now. It could be the... Oh wait, here we are. Yay! We got MRI out. Whee! There we go. Okay, please don't die on the video controller. So what do we got? i5 2.5. Okay, battery we figured was probably dead anyway. Hard drive, fair enough. MagSafe, fair enough. Testing fan motor. Oh yeah, that is kind of not in. There we go. $155. Ah, thank you for that. Okay, it's complaining about the fan. You can see here, see how the mouse tracks poorly? The fan's spinning. Okay, that failed because it wasn't quite plugged in. But other than that... Well, the battery's still sort of in the okay-ish area. Yeah, this is confusing. I will plug in my boot disk, the one where I got the keyboard tester and things like that, and see if anything shows up. feel like I got the wrong one here. Actually, let's just try with the ASD. Who knows if this even still works? Oh, what the hell? There's no USB-C on this, idiot. So it should be bringing up a list of all the different ASDs. But it's not, which is why I'm thinking, okay, maybe the keyboard's cactus. Yeah, so now it's gone and self-booted into whatever it finds first, which is no good. Okay, let's see. Damn it, all my 3115 chassis are probably either in the trash or in the trash. I've got to have one around here somewhere, maybe, potentially. Yeah, ASD does not support this machine. No kidding. Yeah, I might have to actually take a walk out into the shed and get a 3115. Given that we've got a missing key, it's probably not yeah. How about we don't bother with that? I have forgotten what key is normally mapped to option on a PC keyboard. Is it Alt usually? I'm just going to go for a walk into this shed and pick up a 3115 chassis. That's going to be the fastest way. Yeah, just you okay?
Yeah, I just heard you go out, and
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanted to see if like there's a snake.
An incident, yeah. All right. I just noticed the power button's not doing anything. Suspicious much? Mm-hmm. Yeah. So then it's a question, is it a keyboard or is it the electronics controlling the keyboard? No, I don't actually have an Apple keyboard for these. And I gotta tell you, I probably don't want one either. There's so much crap and junk and trash already that I'm dealing with that if I've got to limp for just a couple of minutes to avoid that, then I'm taking the limp option. At some point you just sort of go, that's it, there's just too much crap around the place. Right. Funny enough, was the very first one on the stack. It's a little bit dusty. Might brush it down a little bit. Oh. Yeah, Warren, that is unfortunately the way it goes. It really terrifyingly is. And every time you think, no, I'm going to be a stronger person, I'm going to throw this stuff out, it really does find a way to bite you in the backside every time. And that's extremely frustrating, as you know, because you know that you're hoarding way too much crap. You don't need people telling you that. It's like, yeah, I'm aware of that. But at the same time, every time I try to resolve that situation, it's like it's forcing me to have to buy a bigger property. If this works, then I'll probably just give him this case. It's like, I just noticed there's a little mark on the keyboard connector there. Oh, I think I can't decide whether it's this that I'm looking at or that. So that's a slightly browner pin. A browner? Grey, Paul, grey. Learn your colours. I swear, is that a bit of corrosion I see? Honestly, it's hard to tell sometimes if you're seeing corrosion or old flux, or the same thing. I think it was just flux. Yep, these keyboard flexes, I tell you. Ugh. Swearing to commence shortly. Finally. Option. So that's more like it. So what were we looking for? 35, was it? Or 3-1, something like that. Okay, we've got all this 4, 5, 6. Okay, so this is not the right one. Use the other one. Try that one. Three 9, 3 5. There we go. Oh wait, what did you say? 3S155. Hold, what the hell? Wow, I completely mucked that one up. Oh, the power button on that's no good either. What the hell? Everything's busted in these machines. There we go. Oh, power button works almost straight away there. I do not have a 3S155. Is that the EFI or the OS one? Even if I go the EFI, I've got 30 to 46, 47 EFI, 32 to 46 OS. I do not have a 155. But I think we can say it's probably something to do with the chassis. Because I mean, the mouse tracks properly now. We'll put the MRI back in. Oh, MRI is 3S155. Damn you. So at this point now we've got to decide, is it the keyboard at fault or is it the trackpad at fault? So at least that's pretty quick and easy to test. We'll disconnect the trackpad on the other chassis. The other problem I've noticed on this particular chassis is it's missing the battery indicator. So I've obviously been stripping little bits off this. Shut down. We'll just see if, there you are. Okay, this is the one I wanted. I am glad though that we changed that display connector, because even if the display connector wasn't causing the issues, that would have failed soon enough. By the way, Dust Midget, you've probably got a problem with one of the sensors. Usually you'll either be the charge flex cable or it will be the what do you call it, face camera, face ID flex. So it'll be one of those two most likely that's causing your issue. If you check the panic log, if you can get to it quick enough and then transfer it to someone or send it off through an email, then you should be able to go through the panic log and actually see what the message is. It's probably like barometric sensor or something else. Alright. Because yeah, if you're getting all the way into the login, put in the passcode on your iPhone XR, then it's more than likely going to be one of the flexes. What now? Still running a smidge slow. That should have loaded well and truly by now. Okay, genuine keyboard. Okay, escape, caps. Interesting, the numbers. Oh, that's fine. Well, obviously, did I just crash? I crashed. That's good. Come on, Q. One of hard drives on. Oh, would most likely would be. At least with these machines, we don't need the thermal sensor. So we can just do a direct bit-for-bit clone to another drive. How does the mouse work on this one? This one here... Oh, right, yeah, you mean the trackpad. Yeah, it's fine. There's no problems on this one. Well, we're doing 12 frames per second. This probably needs some thermal paste added. Because our temperatures are... They're still sitting in the 60s. That's way too low. Oh, here we go. We're up to 70 there. Maybe it's just taking longer. I'm not sure if the 3115 suffered that, but certainly the earlier 1278s, like 2936 boards and stuff like that, definitely did have that issue. In this particular case, it's not what the primary issue is. It could be an issue as well, but it's not the primary issue on this one. We're finally getting up into the 80s. It's just taking a little bit longer. We'll quit. So I'll have to check with the person though whether they want to really do anything with this, because new solid state drive, new keyboard, fixing up the board itself may not be practical. Just waiting for it to shut down. Hey there, PR. No, not that late. This is a very non-intended stream. Okay, looks like we're good. And then their battery will also be getting a bit long in the legs, in the tooth rather. Alright, so this is their chassis. I would sooner say that the keyboard is what's at fault, and it's a major... While these keyboards have screws, it's a major pain in the backside to replace them, because you could take out all this assembly, and you've got all these cable. It's a pain, okay? It's a real pain. It's not something you want to do. You're sort of in many ways better off just buying a whole new chassis. It's cheaper. I mean, you can... Oh, what's going on here? Why, MagSafe? Why is it always you? Okay, trackpad, but we're not connecting the keyboard. We're not going to connect the hard drive. Not much point connecting the optical drive either. So it's going to be a tough one. Like, if off the top of my head, this could easily be a 350 job just to restore it, and immediately you kind of go, well, that's crazy. And it's like, yeah, it is, which is why generally don't do it anymore on these machines. But some people really do like these ones, and I totally get that. So it's... Hey there. Oh, right, with the bad charge port. Should not be working on a Sunday, and yet I am. It's the downside of competition coming into town, is that I'm sort of forced to have to work outside of what I would normally consider my normal time parameters, which is a real shame, because I was just saying to a leader the other day that finally we're getting into a routine, a good routine, good time, healthy, family / work split, and then this new shop turns up and everything just went out the window. Okay, so we've got no keyboard connected. Let's see how this goes. We'll have a look at this other, is it 14 Pro Max, I think? Or Pro or something. Ah, crud. Plugged it into the wrong hole. Oh yeah, there's an obstruction down there. Pedro. What would you be without Seinfeld references? I know you're talking about the whale biologist scenario. The sea was angry that day, my friend. Alright, so I think we can say that, yeah, the keyboard's the issue here. Yeah, the trackpad is working beautifully fine there. Right, so I've got some questions to be asking to the owner of this then. What do you want to do? And this is a 500, I'm gonna guess. Glasses on. Yep, 500 gig. Alright. Okay. So a quick squiz at this great big phone. Now apparently they can't charge properly. They suspect an obstruction. Oof, that's a little close. Well, yep, something's been compacted down in there. Yep, we'll get that out. It's like it was a softish substance originally, and then it got packed a little bit too much. Dried out. Just trying to shuffle it back and forth to try and get as much as I can out in one lump. No. Okay, use compressed air. Appropriately placed compressed air while covering the microphone ports. Yeah, you can see that fibrous clump down there. Looks like it's grass. Sometimes we get the happy grass too. That's always fun. It's looking pretty good now. Just blow that out. Yep. Hell of a lot better now. Okay, we've got an Apple logo. That's good. I'm just going to make sure it gets up to 8 volts. There we go, 8 volts. Looks good. Alright. And that's gonna be $10. Send him a message. Okay. All fixed. Right, I'll be back. I'm just going to go put this back out the front. Hey, that's fixed. Right.
Are you able to tell her? I didn't.
Yeah, I messaged her.
Oh, okay.
It's fine. It's $10.
$10?
Yeah. Alright, that's that. Yeah, this one's got to be put aside and discussions with the customer. Okay, battery disconnected, and I'll see what else we've got in the stash. Alright. Alright, Mr. Daniels, what else? Let's see. Bad liquid. Oh, I don't want liquid damage. Hate liquid damage. Pedro loves liquid damage. I hate it. What have we got? Laptop not charging at all. Alright, this is a 2442, I think. Oh, maybe not. I don't know. 1534. Oh my goodness. Too many of those in the trash for sure. Okay. Scan the new job. Beep. Yep. Screw container. Sort out our cables before we try to embark on the new job. I think that's one thing that requires a bit of discipline, is the process of clearing your bench before taking on the next job. It's sort of the floor as well. Like right now I've got scattered remains of a 3115. I've got a couple of open container, 3 containers. I've got a paintbrush and I've got a keyboard. Just, you know, scattered on the ground. It's not good. And yeah, some people say, well, you're still working on the bench. Does it matter? It's like, yeah, it does actually, because it has a tendency to build up. And then what will happen is you'll inadvertently trip yourself up on something. And then you get cranky at it. It's a recipe for frustration. So as annoying as it is to have to stop and do the cleanup process, it is definitely probably best long term for me at least. Yeah. Okay, that one's got to go there. It's kind of like cooking, you know, clean as you go. And we're going to wipe down that too. Clean your desk on a yearly basis. Well, I guess it depends what's it like during the course of the year. Like, I find you have to, well, at least for me, I have to incrementally add to my habits, so to speak. Like first, make sure I keep the this part clean between jobs, and then work on something else that I can hitch on to that to keep building the habits up. Alright, not charging, 2 different chargers, same issue, laptop will not get charged. I'm guessing he's not getting any charge. Yeah, hopefully I can charge him for this. Okay, plug in that. Let's see what we got. Okay, we've got 5 volts, so we've got negotiation. Hang on there. Wow, this is interesting. I just see it now. Okay, you can see all those spikes. So it's jumping up to 1 amp, dying, jumping up to 1 amp, dying. So that's actually hopefully a good thing. And it's not 450 milliamps, so we've probably got, we may have a shorted cap around one of the CD3217. So I'm actually a little bit excited. Try not to get too excited, because you know, universe loves to disappoint you after bringing you up. Don't want to get your hopes up too high. Still early in the evening. Just because someone smiled at you doesn't mean that it's going to end in a whirlwind romance. It could be that they were smiling at someone behind you. Or they're a deranged serial killer, as opposed to a mentally stable serial killer. It could also be a tantalum. I know on the 2442s, tantalums have often died lately. Not seeing any explosion marks on there, so it's probably going to be on the underside, which sort of sucks. First thing of concern though is that we do have some scratch marks here, and the battery pack has been crunched a little bit. These have been off. I can see the, yeah, these have been pulled. So there's been a level of disassembly, not really, but a small level of inspection going on here. Oh, that wasn't even connected. Okay, I think what they did is they deliberately disconnected that for me. Fair enough. It doesn't change the outcome, I don't think. We should still be getting 20 volts. Yep, 2442, Pedro. Back to the back of the class for you. Oh wait, you already were there. Yeah, it's definitely been removed. Well, I will say kudos to this person because they stopped themselves before they went too far. And believe me, you do not realize unless you're doing repairs. How much I wish that was a more common occurrence. One thing I don't like about the 2442s is you've got to destroy these little adhesive screw caps. It's like, why, Apple, why? You know, it's like... You can use hot air around about 150 Celsius and they will come off, but usually what happens is the top little cap comes off and leaves the adhesive ring behind, which is kind of pointless in the end. Hey, Def Bomb. But yeah, I've noticed on their subsequent releases of these kinds of machines, they didn't bother with these covered screws anymore. It was probably a case of the accounting department said, you know, that's costing us an extra $1,000 per million machines, so can you cut that crap out? This, however, is a bit of a weird thing. Down the side here, we've got a T5 here, then we go T6 here, then we have a T6 at the bottom. Now I'm happy that we've got T6s, as I've mentioned before, but then on this side we go T5, T5, T6, I believe. It's like, I don't know why they didn't just do T6 both on both of them. I'm pretty sure it's... Yeah, this one here, this is the odd one. You would think that being a T6 means that this should be a T6 as well, but it's not. It's a T5. And you're probably thinking, no one cares. And it's like, it actually matters. It matters. Maybe it's a way of Apple determining if someone really shoddy has been in on the machine. And then go, well, these people mixed up the T5 and T6. So... I don't know. Mysteries of the universe. Overall, I do find these new style of machines to be very tedious. It's why I have subsequently retracted my wish for Apple to include multiple different ports, because when they did this it was kind of like a great big middle finger to the repair community. It was like, oh, you want middle ports? Different ports? We'll give you different ports. Here you go. Suffer. Oh, look at that complexity we had to add. Oh no, so many things are failing now because it's all so much more complex. But you guys asked for it. Basically to sort of teach us a lesson of don't try to tell Apple what they should or shouldn't do. How they've done the battery connection, yeah, that's another little dirty. Yeah, it's frustrating. It'd be nice if everything was as beautiful as it was with the 1466s. Defcom, this is a M1, I'm pretty sure it will be an M, what have we got? Yeah, 2098 board. Apple M1 Pro, 14-inch. To be fair, I like the 2337s and 2338s, which are the non-Pro editions, so 337 is the Air, 338 is just the MacBook. But yeah, these Pro ones I don't care for much, and the size of the CPU that they had to go for, it's just crazy. Sorry, the SoC, System on a Chip. I don't think we're allowed to call it a CPU. I suppose technically it's not. And these little right angle connect flexes here, oh, they're a nightmare because they put adhesive under here, and so what happens is you're trying to get it away from the connector and then some people, they'll slip, and when you slip it causes a tear off the side here, and of course this goes down into the keyboard assembly area. So yeah, it's a bad day for you when that happens. Okay, we're going to have to use a little bit of heat to get this, or are we? This one? Yep, we're going to need a little bit of heat. These machines are just so full of traps. Got a 337 MDM locked. Well, at least they make good test chassis and good parts. I actually quite like collecting the locked ones because they're generally cheap, but because if they're functioning, they're still very useful to provide diode mode values and all that. So you know it's a working board, but it gives you all the, it's cheap and you can get all the data you want from it. So yeah, I grab them whenever I can. Okay, and this is the mind screwing part. Because you go, okay, have I disconnected everything? Have I snagged a flex somewhere? Why is it not coming up? The first time that any of us deal with this particular board or any of the similar ones, you probably spend 15 minutes trying to get this thing out. And this here, this is the Touch ID power button. It is in such a position that it would be so easy to rip that clean off the board. Yeah, Pedro is my, he's my man for getting me those things. Alright, so what are we going to go for? Shorted cap or something worse? I've definitely had these tantalums cracking on this board as a regular occurrence. Well, let's see what our PP bus says. That's not short. That's what happens when you plug it in with your leads the wrong way around, and it's got to go along and fight with the charge that was already on the board. And so for a little while it seems like it's a short, but it's not. You get people starting out in repairs being caught out by that just as much as they're caught out by the fact that CPUs and GPUs have very low resistances. And so you get these people and they're like, I found the short, and they start ripping up everything, and only to find that it was actually not shorted at all. It was just low resistance. It's a lesson that you learn quickly though. I'm somewhat expecting this to be around the CD3217s, but not 100%. especially since PP bus itself isn't shorted. So that does tend to rule out the tantalum caps. Oh, hello. That's a smidge of liquid damage down there. What the hell? Where the hell did you come from? That's kind of weird. Don't say Wi-Fi 3v3. What kind of a horrible person are you, Pedro? Huh? Horrible. Well, it's not shorted, but that's a little bit of a concern that there's that little smidge there. Definitely bug pee. Yep. Well, at least I would say that's bug pee. I've had some people say there's no way that can happen, even with that video. They say it's too small. It's like, well, you get enough bugs, and there might be bigger bugs. It happens. We've seen it. Yeah, but that's certainly not liquid damage from a spillage or anything like that. The lack of PP bus short also does tend to rule out it being one of the speaker amps, because that's often, you do get the speaker amps failing. But that typically shorts PP bus. Wow, nothing obvious this time around. Okay, we're gonna have to go angle detection. It might also be a problem maybe with, say, 3v8 Aeon or one of the other Aeon rails. Zoom in a little more. Might be an idea if I just pull up the thermal camera. Oh, hello. Oh, wait, no, that's dust. It looks like it's corrosion, but it's actually fiberglass dust. Maybe that's what the other thing was, fiberglass dust. It takes one of these things. It could also be a shorted TVS diode. Like on the input protection circuitries of the USB-C. Where the hell was that? Where was that little itty bitty cat? Oh, there. Okay, now that's... Oh, no, that's definitely liquid damage. I mean, you know, P damage. You can see around it, there's like a rippling effect. So, yeah, that's definitely... Oh, it was right there. Right next to that. But that, I'm pretty sure, is fiberglass dust, because it's got the same on the other side there. Sorry about the shakes, I know. So what's under here? More shoe paste. Okay, that's thermal camera. Oh, come on, you mug. I had my MagSafe 3 in here. Ew, did I just touch? No, I didn't. Fine, we'll do it this way. As I say, I had my MagSafe 3 magnet thingy. Could have sworn it was in there. Clearly it's not. So we'll just use the USB-C version. Ah, that's one way to ruin a board. Alright, let's hope the thermal camera has been charged. Even if I do charge it, it has a tendency to discharge fairly quickly. It won't boot on USB-C, but it's not even getting to the point where it's going to matter anyway at this point, it seems. I mean, I could well be wrong, but we'll see. Sorry, I'm just flipping around here. Schematics. Okay, well, it's still doing the same thing, so we should get some sort of report. Yep, nothing's showing up there. at least on rough first pass. Damn shiny objects. Yeah, we're going to cover it over, eliminate a lot of the reflective stuff. Basically, you just have to go along and bit by bit cover it and check. Yeah, it really sounds like a good time to go to sleep. It does kind of keep going back to that area where we... no, it's not. Okay, try the other side. Where it can be a real problem is if it's under a shield, as Pedro knows all about. Okay, we might have a bit of activity up in the top left there, but we'll see. Okay, that looks a little more convincing to me up in that top left there. And I'm pretty sure that's where that bit of corrosion was. Okay, so I'm thinking about this area here. But to be fair, yeah, okay, it's definitely got something going on in that area. Well, at least we know where we're maybe looking. It's not a guarantee because it could just simply be a case of kind of like with iPhones, you get an area. Okay, if I had to say one, I'd say the end cap there. See how it's gone a different color now that we've tilted it up? Not a guarantee, but I'm thinking it might be. Could also just be a different size. Like, yeah, you could have 1 microfarads and then a 10 microfarad. And it is in this area, interestingly. Need to get a balance point here. It's a hair reflecting, it's not a crack. I don't know. Well, I guess I'm just going to go through and check various resistances and look for shorts and jazz. See what we come up with. Yeah, it was on the opposing side of the bug P, so it's interesting given that the bug P itself isn't showing a short. What have we got? Just move to Ingham, blah blah, OCLP. Oh, Mr. Mac Solutions. Oh, I've been needing to get in touch with that person. Anyway. Well, we're definitely not shorted there, so none of those are going to be shorted. Yeah, that's just reverse. Come on, come through. There we go. Okay, that's fine. Okay, now we've got something there. 1.7. That feels a little low. 2.0. So it looks like a gate boost to me. As in, it's a circuit that they use to boost the voltage of the gate drive on a MOSFET. And so we want 2098 board. Schematics. Okay, what are we looking at? I think it's this area here. Looks like I need to fix up the outline on this board. So ground. Oh, 3V8A on short. Okay, that's not very good. Bugger. Alright, let's have a look at that part. What? Where are you? Okay, so this is for 3V8 Aeon. So basically 3V8 Aeon is shorted. The last big cap on this send a bit discussed. Yeah, well, I was mentioning that it was looking a little bit funny. This here is the shorted cap. That's on the current sense. Wow, no shortage there, eh? Okay, so I'll check the resistance on there. What did you tell me, Pedro? I don't believe anything you tell me, Pedro. You're not exactly what one would consider to be a reliable source of information. Well, that's not shorted. I'm just going to take this off properly. Put it somewhere safe. You said Wi-Fi. Yeah, that's a big difference, Pedro. The frickin' Renesas chips. First thing that strikes me here is the discoloration of the resistors. Now I know when I chip away at this, pardon me, if I start touching this, it's going to just bobble off probably. I think, maybe. It's definitely bobbled under there. But that's ground, so really, yeah. feel like I feel like we're chasing one of those simple, obvious but not obvious faults. Yeah, 12 volt injection. Okay, yeah. Okay, is it all phases? 0.03, 0.04. Okay. Joy. So my guess is that we're probably seeing heat there only because it's trying to drive the short. And I gotta say, that short is awfully short. It could be one of the MOSFETs. Let me have a look at the schematic. Use a car battery to heat it up, no current limiting. Quite right you are. Okay, so if we have a look at the schematics, see, like if you have a... like if you've got a short to ground through one of these MOSFETs here, it's a possibility. Well, one way we can test is if we do inject, we can inject even 100 milliamps probably into the 3V8, and then we can see which of these inductors actually has a voltage drop across it, and then that way we'll know where it's going to, like which phase is faulty, or we'll get nothing going across there and it won't be any of the phases, it'll be something out here. It's just unfortunate they don't have a line break here, like, you know, a fuse or something like that would have been nice. Alright, teeny tiny injection then, and see which one of these coils actually drops voltage, if at all. Yeah, fuses, or even just like they do on PC boards, the yeah, just dropping little blobs of solder. I suppose the easiest option for me here might be to simply put trying to think where I want to inject. Actually, there's a decent bank of caps on the other side here. Probably easier to do it there. It annoys me that we've got that tiny spot of corrosion there, because that, I feel like that's something telling me it's over here, and yet I am still not seeing it. Like this cap here, you know, what's the deal with that? Like I said, I'm 99% sure that's fiberglass filaments. The fact that nothing else on the board jumped up when we were doing the what do you call it? Just the normal USB input tells me that it's probably not going to be a cap at this point. I'm probably going to be wrong, but at this point it tells me it's sooner going to be a MOSFET now. But then again, could be wrong. But I have a strong feeling that injection alone probably will not reveal the hotspot. I feel like it's just too close to zero. Hey there, Tradie Trev. It's just unfortunate when you're this close to a dead short that it's not going to dissipate any real heat. This is a terrible place to try and get a connection, but it's what we've got to do. Alright, that's a really crappy quality connection, which means it should fuse off first if things go wrong. It's also really crappy. Excellent. Alrighty. Now, like I said, we're going to go with... I'm just going to go 1 volt. Half an amp. That pretty much, yeah, I don't know what's going to do. Okay, 1 volt, half amp. Power on. So 0.062, that is a very, very aggressive short. Okay, so now we want to see if we have voltage drop across any of those inductors. Nothing. Nothing. That was weird. And still nothing. Okay, so we've got nothing going back across the inductors. I'll push it up to 1 amp, but I don't think it's going to make much difference. So we've got 125 milliwatts of heat going in now, so there's actually a chance that we might be able to pick that up, but it's probably mostly going through the cables, to be honest, like the thin leads. Yeah, that's definitely not heating up. Oh, sorry, there's definitely no voltage drop across there, which sort of indicates that the MOSFET shouldn't be a problem. We'll bring out the thermal camera Like I said, I suspect that all it's going to do is show us that the wires are getting warm. You never know, we might get like a 125 milliwatt. It's detectable. But I suspect, yeah, 90% of that's not going to where we want. Well, if it was going to go across the MOSFETs, it should be also going across the inductors. That's the problem. Let's see, what am I after? Schematics. Oh no, that's not good. I really hope that's not what I'm thinking I'm looking at. I really hope that I'm just seeing latent heat in the heatsink and not actual CPU heat. Oh, there's a mirror. Damn those chips. God, they suck. Those shiny metal blue chips. Silicon wafer chips. I could absolutely crank the amperage up. I just kind of prefer to take it as slow as I possibly can. Alright, on the upside it looks like the CPU heatsink has sort of come back down to normal. So that's a slight bit of hope. Just focus on the 3V8 area again. Wow, this thing's reluctant. That's annoying. Alright, 2 amp it is. Half an amp, this has got to show up. Oh, sorry, not half an amp, half a watt. This is one of the downsides of having a well-lit room, is that you pick up a gazillion false hotspots. No, that's a false one. Where the hell is it? Hey, Mr. Bodger. Oh, do not show me that. Surely you're a reflection. Yes. Okay, we've got a spot that's persisting there above the CPU. We can verify that by tilting it up, killing the power. Yep, okay, so whatever it is, it's there. So what are we talking about? Ah, yuck. Okay, somewhere here. There's no IC here. This is the underside of the IC. So this is the area that we're talking about, which is the underside of whatever's under here. That's a little scary. Oops. So what is this? 77. Oh, God help us all. PMIC slave. We do not need that. Alright, let us hope and pray that this is actually a dud cap in amongst this array under here. It looked sufficiently sort of small that it might be a cap. Then again, it could have been general. Alright. Peel off the cap. Because usually if it's on this side, then by the time it gets to the other side, it disperses a lot more. Also, when you turn off the power, it shouldn't dissipate as quick. So my idea here is perhaps flip it over, cover it with some IPA, kick the power in, and see if anything fades out, or anything dries off. So it's somewhere around here. I'm just going to check under the CPU just in case. Alright, we're looking okay there. So what do you guys think? Give it some heat, give it some injection, rub some RPA on and see what says no thanks. Yeah, what I should do first is just simply go around and short test those caps. That'd be the more sensible thing to do. Ugh, voltage mode is no good for testing shorted caps. Right. Okay, that one there. Yeah, that doesn't help us at all. Because that's just 3v8, so no point testing because they're all equally likely. This is damn frustrating, I gotta tell you that much. But yeah, this is why even if you've got a thermal camera, finding shorts isn't always quite that quick and easy. Okay, here we go. Okay, so 600 milliwatts. There, gotcha. This one here. Yep. Or at least I thought it was that one. What do you guys reckon? Or do you think it was just pure luck? I'll try it again. Yeah, that's definitely the one. It's not a crack that you can see on there, that's just a water line. But I want to have a look at that visually. There is pretty much nothing. If that's cracked, it's got to be on the underside. Alrighty, let's get it off. Let's see if we've got a win or whether we're just going to start the process of running down the rabbit hole. God help us. Doing my best to keep the heat away from the CPU, even though the CPU really is actually going to be fine. I just like to minimize as much as I can what I can. Wouldn't be the first time. No, quite right you are. But I try to always make it the last time. What's not helping is I've got the shakes today and I really don't approve. Wow, doesn't want to come up. See what I mean? I just can't stop the frickin' shakes. There it is. Just saw it. There we go. Wow. Not enough coffee. Probably true. Okay, so we don't have a short there anymore. And we do have a shorted cap. But that is a very, very subtle failure, that one. There is no real way of seeing that from above. That was certainly a tricky one, Defcon, yes. Like I said, it was really pushed the limits on everything because, you know, visually it wasn't showing up. Thermally it was barely showing up. Yeah, alright. Okay, so what was that one? So what are we looking at? This one here. Classic 10 microfarad 63402s. Classic. Now let's have a look at what's on this rail. So we have got, what have we got? 8, 16. We've got 1600 microfarad here. Sorry. No, 160 microfarads, and we lost 10 microfarad, and they're 20% tolerance resistors, capacitors. So in this particular case, I would probably not bother replacing this cap, and I suspect that there is a hell of a lot more decoupling as well involved. Yeah. Okay, we've got a lot of smaller ones. And then what about... So basically it is 3VA on, so I don't think it's worth putting another cap back. I don't know, what's everybody's view on that? Personally, I think it's probably going to be, you know, strain to the board to get that back up to temperature again. You already saw how long it took just to get it to, let it go. Yeah, and like I said, yeah, I mean those caps are rated at 20% tolerance anyway, and we have taken out 1/16th, so yeah, not really worth it. From a design perspective, I know that when I'm trying to come up with, how much capacitance do I put on a rail, it really is a case of suck your thumb, throw capacitors at it, whatever sticks. If you find that you've got stability issues, then you add a bit more. I just realised I've got to take the cables off. I know there's some people who are extremely pedantic about it, and they're like, no, you've got to put that back, but I'm fairly sure even Apple engineers themselves won't be thinking about that much. Worst case scenario, you're going to have an infinitesimally small reduction in your potential operating envelope. And I do mean small. Yeah, pardon me, sorry. I agree, DefPom. If it was an easy to put down one, then yeah, I'd put it back down. But that was a very difficult one to get rid of, and it's right underneath the PMIC. And the less disturbance I have with that PMIC, the better. Oh yeah, probably not going to replace the bug P cap. That's also in a very heavy area, but I will clean it. Great, now I've got hairs everywhere. Ugh, what the hell was that? Oh, that was that corpse from the other machine. Stick our useless protector cover back on. I'm sure that thing totally saved the day. To be fair, we haven't actually tried to see if this boots yet, but I'm going to put it back into the chassis because I'm fairly confident that should have solved it. Now, I know I am really pushing my luck for the universe doing that, but at the same time, I try to push my luck with the universe intentionally to say, hey, you know, it's like, you can't just keep pushing me around. Okay, I'm going to put the face light back on. I need to get myself another 12 volt pack. It's my own dumb fault. I kept cutting the leads off them. There we go. Alrighty, tape time. Because even Apple tells you you have to use tape. Oop, almost forgot the most important thing here. I put marks on the board where I have done prior work, so that should it ever come back one way or another, I can go, oh yes, I recognize this. Alright. Getting these boards back in is almost as frustrating as getting them out. Almost. Actually, in some ways it's worse. Depends on how your luck is running for the day. Right. Yeah, tradie, it's not really a lot of fun with these. There's just so many fiddly little things. But to be fair, yeah, I look at some of the modern vehicles, cars and stuff like that, and the amount of stuff that you've got to take out and all that sort of get out of the way just to access something is ludicrous. It's like what should be a 10-minute replacement job of a board or a bulb turns into a full day $1,000 fiasco. It's ridiculous. Try not to lose patience. Try not to use metal tweezers too often when reassembling these, because you don't know whether you've made a stuff up or something else accidental is happening and you might have power going through the board. Obviously in this scenario, okay, it's not, but as a habit more than anything else, it's like I don't like to use metal tweezers whilst reassembling boards in the event that I have been stupid. And sometimes just accidentally, maybe the battery connectors just happen to be touching and it's a replacement battery, so it doesn't actually have the circuitry that would normally disable. Okay, this is the time where I violate that rule, is when I'm putting the Wi-Fi cables back on. And yes, I am aware there are actually proper tools to put these connectors on, and they're called tweezers. Okay, we're getting nervous now. The old nerves are on the run. Waiting to see watch hammer or watchmaker. I have seen watchmaker videos. I do quite like them actually. Okay, no screws in yet. We'll just power it up, see if we get... Fingers crossed. Hey, 20 volts. And was that a bong I heard? Yes, we got an Apple logo. Ooh, I do love seeing over 4 amps. Tasty, tasty current. Yep, that's booted to the login. We got a win. Shut that down. Rightio. Well, that one was a little bit of a run around. It was difficult because that cap was shorted in such a way that it was barely detectable. We were lucky it hasn't shorted as bad as it could have. You know, we actually did get a chance to see it show up on the infrared camera. Even under, even when we knew roughly where it was, that was difficult to find. And I was putting, what, 2 amps through, so we'll get 600 milliwatts. I generally don't like to put in too much power straight up because you don't know what rail or what trace is feeding the power to that short circuit. And it's very easy for you to put too much current in and you fry the trace, which is why we greatly discourage the use of things like short killers, because a lot of the time you don't necessarily kill the short, you end up killing the trace feeding to the short, and that trace may actually feed other circuits that you've now just disconnected from the functionality of the machine. And worse, it could be an internal trace, and in which case you're completely up the creek. So yeah, don't use short killers, and don't go in straight up with, you know, huge amount of amps. Work your way up and assess the situation bit by bit. So, I mean, look, 90% of the time, it's probably not going to matter, I will agree. And for most people, it's going to be a case of, it's always worked for me, maybe not realizing there were 1 or 2 that they could have saved out of the hundreds that they weren't able to, that they end up destroying. So on the balance of numbers, maybe I'm being too pedantic there, but I prefer to at least, yeah, it's a couple of extra minutes, half an hour maybe of extra work to work your way up, rather than just going full in and, you know, killing whatever. Nice big bowl of ice cream, I would really like that, but I won't be. I'll just be having a coffee today. Alright then, well, listen, that's it for me for today, and I might edit this into a video, I don't know, we'll see how we go. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope you all enjoyed that. Have a good rest of the Sunday. For those of you starting, enjoy your Sunday. And for the Australians and New Zealanders, well, guess we now got to prepare for work tomorrow, even though I'm working right now. Alright, you have a good one. Catch us all later. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.